Paula woke up as usual. Sun not up yet, she was already quietly fumbling in the kitchen. Soon after waking up, I had to prepare food for breakfast and put everything in the pan for dinner. So, to the eldest Maria, she was able to warm it all up herself, feed the younger ones while mother was at work. Fine, that she herself can already heat up food almost independently and by herself. Now on the way in front of the school will lead the younger Brand to a kindergarten, yes, and for Lucas to look after at school. Then she will take Lucas after classes with an extension. Brand from the kindergarten, she will be able to heat the frying pan and feed the brothers with dinner, and yourself, and Mateo. Grandma had no hope, she became quite helpless, almost recumbent. I only went to the toilet, and thanks for that. For the last 6 months have passed, that just melts before your eyes. Lies under the TV staff a newspaper about the demand for what was interesting, never remember. We have one gear, no news, not a single newspaper article or note. Yes, this is understandable, at her age, and so good. Because soon she will be 92 years old, experienced so much in her lifetime. Yes, and lately all sorts of sores have been overcome. Worse than that, you have to spend a lot of money on medicines. But what can you do here, if it's necessary, if we're ever that old, sick and infirm? God bless, so that our loved ones have enough patience and love. My money for our senile sores here, Lucas, not enough. One day my husband said, that can't do it anymore. Grandma is old around the neck with her sores, and a bunch of children, and the wife always disappears at work. Tired of chronic lack of money, hopeless poverty and life. Him his own life, one and the other will not. And he wants to live it wrong, like a family yoke. Plow like an ox, he can't. He wants to live like all normal people, like those who ride the bus. She is an expensive foreign car, like those that live from paycheck to paycheck. Can they afford to go to restaurants? Paula then stood and did not know what to answer him. After all, he did not bother himself with work so much, because of this, she had to work herself. From morning to night. I'm not looking for a job with a good salary, those pennies suited him, which we paid for uncomplicated, absolutely not tedious work. So why does he complain about the lack of money? What is the fault of the children? He himself insisted, that he wants a boy. Even after Maria Lucas appeared, Max didn't stop. Wanted a third child. There were 3 of them in the mother's family too, that's what he wanted, so he also had 3. Rejoiced at the appearance of the youngest Mark. He even came up with names for everyone, and did not listen much to the opinion of his wife. Now the children have become a burden to him. But he didn't work at all. All was on the shoulders of Paula, and children, and households, and family income. Fine though Maria, I tried my best to help my mother. Yes, and Mateo, then it was still not quite old, could sit with the children, buy Paula run to the market for groceries, Max often went with friends to relax on a fishing trip, could take a ticket to some football match and come home in the morning drunk and, of course, tired. Paula once accidentally found such a ticket in a pants pocket when I took them to clean from dirt after the match. When she saw how much it cost, the hair on my head stood up. Yes, they could buy so many products with this money. Max categorically answered, what is his salary, and how he wants, so does she spend. He did earn that money, so he has the right to spend them on himself, as you see fit. Should be happy that the husband brings the salary to the house. Their buddies make their way. Yet I still need it. He works the same job, and doesn't go for the ladies. Must have at least some kind of soul for the holiday. Life cannot be all the time to live great everyday life. Paula was amazed, how come there are no holidays and matinees in the kindergarten for children? They try so hard, and rhymes, and learned songs, costumes were prepared. Why did Max not come to any of the matinees, though other fathers, even taking time off from work for the sake of it? Yes, and the children also gave it all the time, peeped out, didn't their dad come and teach this? Didn't see that, how these snotty children dance round dances. I what? Don't know how it happens. I already heard their stitches at home when they taught. To me, it's enough. But these are your children. Boys, would it be nice if Dad came to the matinee too? But in Nika, everyone can huddle together. How many women are now in general? Educates her, gives birth to an unknown person, and raise fatherlessness. I'm nothing, don't worry, that the folders on the matinee do not go. An hour is fine, everybody knows that they have a father. Even if I miss any matinee. And skip matinees, and parent meetings, and even kindergarten graduation. Went fishing with friends at and then school, no one has ever seen him either. Paula spinning, how could, torn between work and children, but managed everywhere. Children were clean and tidy, participated in all competitions and events, learned poetry well, quickly mastered the literacy school and immediately became excellent students, and the eldest, Maria. Now and Lucas Mark still went to kindergarten, but already tried to learn letters in the primer with his brother. Anne Maria loved to work with my brothers. Pretended to be a teacher. Yes, and Mateo could still have children and read a book, a fairy tale to tell, and slowly learn the multiplication table. Now she has become so forgetful, and then she could still work with children quite normally, but just got really sick, got to the hospital. Then Lucas decided, what a hard life for him. He not only filed for divorce, he also wanted to sue part of the apartment from his wife and children, since he was registered there for almost 10 years of married life. Paula, then I just grabbed my head, because she had to be torn between work, children, grandmother in the hospital, and here is this. No, Max perfectly understood that the apartment is too small, just 2 rooms, yes, and, unfortunately, in a residential area. So that you won't get much for it. But he was ready to receive his share in money. Fine, on the advice of colleagues at work, Paula paid the lawyer. That clearly and well explained that the apartment belonged to Paula even before marriage. Got inheritance from parents, that 1 room belongs to her grandmother and the second by will. Received Paula while, when she did not even know her future husband. So that it is not jointly acquired, common family property and is not subject to division between former spouses. So what? Lucas got nothing from the apartment. Even though he was ordered to pay child support, he left his last job. More never officially worked, and no income, then there is nothing to pay these alimony. Paula left alone, with 3 small children, with grandma, who now had to buy expensive medicines all the time, with work, which became increasingly difficult to combine with household chores. In addition, the factory began layoffs, and people were transferred part-time. Paula, I started looking for some work, preferably closer to home, not to travel far, do not spend money on travel, no time. So she found this place. Cleaning woman dishwashers at a restaurant a block away. Combined did not work, so she left the factory altogether. Although it was low-skilled work, well, close to home. I hired to work in shifts, in one day, but she asked for 2 bets, worked 7 days a week, only Monday she had a short day, visitors in the morning were never there, so the restaurant only opened from lunch in the morning. Paula could redo all urgent matters for 1 week, wash, go to school or kindergarten, if it's necessary. After all, she did not get to the evening parent-teacher meetings, but she could take time off for part of the matinee for a child in kindergarten, and then run to work, finish her shift, as usual. But even with all her diligence, at double pay, daily work from morning to night, there was still little money. Lion's part of the family budget was consumed by medicines for Mateo dear certainly, but children's clothes are not cheap, and even more shoes. Fine, that the youngest Mark could wear everything for his brother, but I had to buy all the bags. Not while he wears a girl's sister's clothes, and also not home, sliders and undershirts, he is already an adult. Yes, and Maria, I also want to go to school, like everyone else, and walk around in a dress with short sleeves and a short waist. All they see, that the girl grew up. Over the summer, and you have to buy new clothes. Expected, that there was no money left for groceries, and the more painful it was to watch Paula. On a plate, which the waiters brought to her in the sink, often people left not only salads and side dishes, but the meat could not be eaten, and it all went to waste. She herself, reluctantly, protected everything in a bucket before washing dishes. Somehow she quietly left the half-eaten chop. I really wanted to eat. After all, a piece of meat was only cut, don't bite and don't drool. Or she secretly, until no one noticed, ate that poor chop. For a long time she didn't eat meat, and especially such a delicious thing. She saves herself all the time, tries and bests kids. Here she got yummy, you can say, delicacy. She wanted to bring such delicious meat to her children from work somehow. Nothing that from other people's plates they themselves fry in a frying pan again. Nothing that these are just half-eaten pieces, you can get a lot of them in a day. Paula began to take a plastic container to work. Quietly put food there, which she could then give to children and old women, and even had enough for breakfast. After she got 2 containers. Vegetables and herbs are very expensive in winter, and then often there are different salads. No, not because they were tasteless or of poor quality, people just didn't finish eating, left on plates. Portions the institution had large, reputable visitors came from the wealthy, rich. Such do not consider how much of the money spent on dinner went into the trash, or rather in the iconostasis container. The chef noticed that the woman was collecting leftovers, but didn't say anything. It's still garbage. To her, maybe, I need to feed some pets, cats or dogs. Why salads? Yes, you never know why. Maybe she has some kind of decorative rabbit at home with the children in the living room. She has a bunch of kids. For sure, and the dog is, and my grandmother has an old cat. More, kitty. Women like this, to sit something fluffy on your knees, and Marcello squeezing in the sun-warmed senile bones. Here the cleaner saves on animal feed. Yes, and who cares? A vessel glitters, everything is. Clean in the hall, ordered in the kitchen, in front of the restaurant, not a speck in the backyard. Women work neatly, in good faith, everyone likes, fit the whole team without problems and conflicts. In the back rooms do not be lazy to clean every day, and in the dressing room, at least a day later, but no, responsibly, and this is good. So let us take these leftovers. It's not a product from the kitchen that steals, it's just garbage. So, with the tacit consent of the chief, in Paula it became possible to save on groceries and feed children with delicious and nutritious food. And already prepared food. At home they're only roasting meat. The salary went to buy a winter down jacket for Maria. Now won't get cold on the way to school, yes, and bag succeeded, by a new warm jacket. New winter boots will be available for the next paycheck, boots to buy. So live. Nothing, there, you look, and the children will grow up. I am without paternal support. A lawyer he advised to deprive him of parental rights altogether. Still no support from him, not moral, intangible. Gone and like a cut, as if they were not his children at all, and so at least what a penny they will receive from the state. Paula long hesitated. Father, how will the kids react? No one to consult. Girlfriend's busy with her problems from her old job, they hardly see each other anymore. Grandmother Mateo got quite old, how is her advisor, but she doesn't understand people either. Then, for a long time, when Paula just met Lucas, when he took care of her, the girl had doubts parents were gone. Asking the opinion of the elders was possible only with the mother, father, Grandma Mateo. Mateo happily persuaded her granddaughter to marry such a wonderful guy. Later she regretted not listening to the doubts of the granddaughter, which prompted her to this marriage. But she then thought, well, that there are granddaughters, any guy, what will not remain in the girls, get married, will create a family, there's something going on. Took shape, yes it didn't work out. He lived only for himself and left them alone, not sparing even their own children. Mateo, though not acknowledged, but often thought about it and worried, blamed himself for what prompted the granddaughter to make the wrong choice. Somehow she's completely screwed up, got emotional. Cried, hugged Paula, asked for forgiveness, and insisted then on that wedding. And now you see what came of it all. Yes, also my fault. Crying old woman. Yes, what are you talking about? I might regret what happened then married, maybe my life would have turned out differently, but then I would not have such wonderful children. You look, what do we have, Maria assistant? Yes, the handbag with Mark is also wonderful. They don't look like their father at all. Here, how would I live without them, without my blood on limit? All, what is not being done, all goes to good. To what's for the better you are pulling the most, help is nowhere to be found, and I've become quite old. Well, how not from somewhere, Maria, how does it help me? A mouse already knows how to sweep too, and wash the floors. That we are alone now, it's even easier. I gotta feed that daddy now. Now we spend my salary only on us, for children. And he is dear to him, he forgot about us. Here we won't remember them. Us our lives, own friendly and happy family. Now they really began to live calmer and more friendly. Now no one expected that Dad could come to the school line or to the kindergarten for New Year. Not waited and did not get upset when it didn't happen. Now no one at the table took the biggest piece. First of all, Maria shared food between the brothers equally. Father did not take away the most delicious and appetizing pieces. All now living together, support each other more. When Maria accidentally found out that the lawyer suggested that the mother deprive the father of parental rights, she herself demanded from her mother to definitely do it. Nothing, I don't even want to hear about it. He abandoned us, he never loved us, and now he does not remember us. Girl said emphatically, not we need this folder, but we don't like it at all. Picked up by the brothers, and Paula decided to call a lawyer, meet him and hire him again for the next court case. A lawyer gladly agreed. He was satisfied, what could help this patient? Hard-working woman in her difficult situation. And he will appoint a purely symbolic fee for his participation. A lawyer came to Paula to work, he knew the place well. Master Restaurant once had its customers in some old property dispute. Having discussed all by herself, Watt and the lawyer decided to have lunch together. Already ordering, he met the owner, my old friends. What kind of winds are you in our monastery? Decided dine with an old friend or make an appointment with clients and combine business with pleasure, rejoiced Leo Sergeyevich, old friend. I did that, and another of the clients talked and dined. I represent the interests, Paula, she is your dishwasher. Yes. That she's in trouble with the law? Yes, no, only with ex-husband. And the lawyer briefly outlined past divorce cases, how the former left her alone with 3 children and an ancient feeble old woman in her arms, how I'm flying. I am trying to get an apartment, scoundrel, that he didn't pay a penny of alimony from the divorce, specifically resigned from his official job, not to pay. Children that now live only on 1 salary of their mother. What is raising 3 children? How much goes to food, on clothes? Yes, and a decent amount is also needed for grandmother's medicines every month. Leo listened to it all with a serious face. He knew that the cleaners have children. Chef sometimes let go at the matinee there for a couple of hours on holidays, but that she was in such distress no one knew. Chef looked out for the owner, sat down with some client and talked for a long time. Face serious tension. Probably some problem. Maybe the guest did not like the dish necessary, go to the gym and if anything changes, suggest something else. Kind day, enjoy your appetite. All in order, Leo Sergeyevich or the client does not like something. Boss, the chef was very courteous. No, everything is great. We're talking about our dishwasher, about Paula. You, turns out to be a very sad state of affairs. Yes, I noticed. I allowed her to collect scraps for pets. Anyway, it's all going to trash. The chef tried to show that he is aware of the problems of his subordinates and even helps them with this at no additional cost to the restaurant. She told you that collects food for pets. Yes, I thought so myself. Where but still half-eaten chops can be taken by some cats, dogs. Animals don't matter, what snacks to eat, she saves money on food. The chef made excuses to the owner. She has no cats or dogs, only an old grandmother and 3 children, the lawyer said firmly. Men looked at each other. It became clear for whom the cleaner collects leftovers, and that made it so creepy and scary. Mother compelled to feed her children by strangers, not eaten by cutlets and steaks, to survive on 1 paycheck. She won't find another job then, the chef made excuses again, and deep down he felt guilty for the horror, which I just found out about. Her higher education, she used to work in a factory, but there is an abbreviation, and travel far from home. Here, in your sleeping area, nothing better was found closer to home. Here and walk to your floors, made of scraps to collect. A lawyer was also shocked. The owner was silent for a minute, got up and went to the kitchen. The chief lawyer followed him. They found Paula in the back room, where in the big sinks there was already over piss on a batch of plates. Woman just closing the lid of a neat plastic container with pieces of chops and leftover cold cuts. What you have it? The owner asked sternly, pointing to the container in the hands of Paula. So, leftover food from plates. We still throw it in the trash. Here look, Paula, trembling hands, tried to open the unyielding lid. I know, what are these snacks? I don't ask where, I ask why. To whom you were those leftovers? Master decided to figure it all out for myself, quietly whispered the unfortunate woman, lowered his head. Here is enough for a few people. You what? Feed your children with your objects. Cleaning woman didn't answer anything, everything was so clear. She stood, head down low, faces and almost invisible, only a large tear fell on the ill-fated container in the hands, loudly slapping on the plastic cover. Almost all the staff collided at the back door. All saw, how did the serious one get there? Leo Sergeyevich, and behind him the chef is another respectable dinner man. Lice they have now. The whole conversation was heard, and the cooks and waiters. They didn't whisper, but were shocked by the news that it turns out their dishwasher did not collect these leftovers from animals and to your children. Leo Sergeyevich couldn't look at it anymore. He declared emphatically, means so. Firstly, you go to accounting, you will be issued financial assistance for children there, and at the same time sign the order on the new salary. Nikitovic, I will check, please. The owner turned to the chef. A second, tomorrow will introduce mandatory meals for 3 children. Chef, please put normal full portions in these containers. Add in obligatory expenses for each day, calculation of products for these lunches and dinners. Chef nodded in agreement. You, darling, don't you dare feed the kids scraps anymore. Really, we are not human. We spend a lot more money on all sorts of nonsense. I wipe off, please, those tears. Here in so much water, someone else slips on the wet floor. Lastly, the words he uttered were no longer strict. With a soft smile, Paula was very grateful for this help. She understood, how will everyone look at her now, but she will survive. She will just silently do its job and not notice these views. People don't like people like her, but nothing can be done. Was ashamed, but for the sake of the children she will endure. She provided financial assistance. Money enough for that, to buy winter clothes for the children, stock up on grandmother's medicines and, moreover, buy boots for yourself. It has long since collapsed. Paula continued to carry out her duties. Life got a lot easier. I didn't have to think about it every minute, what to feed, what to dress the kids in. Then the owner took her assistant, a girl, who gave weekends twice a week. Let Paula be a dishwasher, but life really got a lot easier. From that, she was less nervous, slept more, and ate better. Paula recovered a little, gone dark circles from under the eyes, and all of a sudden they noticed that the woman was very beautiful. Chef started treating her differently, on duty, with amazement and considering. He was already old, but didn't understand, how could you leave such a woman? Plus she has amazing kids. I have known them for a long time and thought that they are brought up just perfect. Spring Paula, I was able to afford to make small repairs in the apartment and buy a few new things for myself. It was her birthday. Certainly, nobody at work knew about it, but she decided to please herself by putting on a new dress, underpainted, and high heels. Children looked at the mother in complete admiration. Maria said, "Ma'am, you're so beautiful." Paula smiled. When I came to work, it hadn't changed yet. A house chef Paula found her, director calls. Woman turned around and the chef gouged out his eyes. He was silent for a while, then just said, "Yes." Paula went to the principal's office. "Hello," called he, raised his head and silently looked at her. "Yes," he called her, "truth, I just don't remember why." Paula silently waited. And then the owner said, "Paula, would you agree to have dinner with me tonight?" Woman confused. "Work. I'll call your shift." Paula didn't know how to be. What it got to him after she understood. Apparently he found out about the birthday. "Where did you find out about my birthday?" He almost spoke out. "What, don't know," but bit my tongue, just smiled. When Paula came out, he frantically grabbed the phone to order flowers and a table at another restaurant. For this occupation and composition. The chef immediately understood who were the flowers for, which the owner ordered, looked at him and said, "Hear and right, it is not good for such a woman to be lonely." He left the office, and the owner suddenly smiled to himself. Because the chef said in 2 words what he doesn't understand. Paula is that woman with whom he would like to spend the evening, and maybe for the rest of your life.